Hi, I'm Andy Scott of The Suite, and we're coming to Australia to tour in November. Prior to that, we are on one of these rock the boat cruises out of Sydney, and we just hope to see you all there. With me will be my singer, Paul Manzi, my bass player, Lee Small, my drummer, Adam Booth, and our younger genius second guitar player, keyboard player, Tom Corey.
Very good, Andy. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Well, it's been fantastic so far.
Let's hope we can keep it that way.
Yeah.
As you say, the Suite are hitting Australia this November for the Farewell Tour Greatest Hits, starting in Melbourne on November the 8th, then heading to the Early Beach Music Festival, Tweed Heads, Toowoomba, Brisbane, Adelaide, Sydney, and Penrith, and then finishing in Thirroul on November the 23rd. It's decent run of shows in some out-of-the-way places, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I've just been told yesterday that it looks like we'll be going to Tassie and then finishing in Perth. So there's a little bit for everybody.
Fantastic. Well, I live in Australia and I don't even know where Thirroul is, and you're playing there, so it's a one-up on me.
Well, I have to say, the promoter obviously knows something that we don't.
Let's just leave it at that. And the early beach show should be fun too, bro. Like, you won't want to leave there. And the Rock the Boat cruise, I didn't know you were on that. Like, I was on that last year, and it's a fantastic, fantastic trip. You're gonna have a ball.
Yeah, we were on the one just before the pandemic with Susie Quattro, and we were also on one a couple of years ago with the Angels and Chocolate Starfish, and it was a really good one there. Oh, and Brian
about
Cadd
5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I was on that one too. I saw you on.
All right, but yeah, brilliant stuff.
I was there with an AC/DC tribute band called Akadaka.
Ah, yes, I remember them.
Yeah, I was there with them. Very cool. Very cool. So what can fans expect from the shows these days? Like what's the Suite 2024 show look like?
We've been through many phases, as you know, as you would imagine, with the difference in musical styles. 50 odd years of a catalogue with like almost 300 songs in it. Try picking 20 from that, or it's. I think most of the set writes itself. We're certainly going to do about a dozen of the hits, say, and then we're going to fill it with things like "Set Me Free," some of the heavy rock stuff, and then because we've been releasing some stuff more recently, we'll probably chuck a couple of the new ones in, and it depends how long and whether we've got supports on all of the dates. Depends how long we're going to be playing, so the set might change slightly.
Yeah.
But it's there'll be something for everybody. I can tell you that.
You mentioned a good point there, bro. Like, it must be an absolute nightmare coming up with a set list to please the majority of people, because you've got so many songs and they all mean different things to different people. So it's just you just couldn't.
Well, the thing is, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't play a song. Yeah. And the other side of it is, a friend of mine works for Paul McCartney, and he said that the band have to know over 100 songs because they don't know what he's going to pick on that night. There's a certain section of the set where they might go on a bit, they might not go on a bit. He might throw a curveball in. So now you imagine that. You better be. They're paid really well, so best not mess up. I think.
It'd definitely test you out, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. It'd be like the old James Brown thing. If a trumpeter made a mistake, he'd look at him and give him 5, which meant $5 less tonight for you, mate.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Wow. As the title suggested, it's going to be your farewell tour of this country. So is it a farewell world tour that you're doing, or is it just the last time you're coming to Australia?
Well, I did say something a couple of years ago that because of situations, I mean, I'm now 15 years in with prostate cancer. I'm doing fine. The guys who look after me are brilliant. And I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing, but sometimes going away for like 6 weeks on a full-blooded tour, on a tour bus and all that, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So when you start talking about farewell, it doesn't mean to say we won't come to Australia again. It's just putting together, should we say, 12 to 15 dates in a month or 3 weeks. It is not that easy for me. So let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mate, I'm backing you in. You're looking fresh and vibrant still.
Well, you don't see what's happening, further down, do you? So, what was it somebody said to me? Somebody said to me, "You're like the swan, not looking too bad above the water, but down below, there's a lot going on there."
You get a bit of paddle beating needs doing down below.
Yeah.
The Sweet toured out here in Australia for the first time in 1975, mate, which is almost 50 years ago. Like, can you remember much about that first tour?
I remember a lot. I remember one of the big dates. It must have been the one in Sydney. The big open air place, pavilions, Horden Pavilions.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and we had such luminaries as Andy Gibb as one of the support acts. I think there was a band called Sherbet. And the weird thing was, during the sound check, somebody came rushing up and said, "You're far too loud for this." And I'm looking at the place and it holds about 20,000 or more. And I'm thinking, too loud? Good Lord, But I think they were expecting a bit of a pop band, and what they actually got was a forerunner of Motley Crue, probably.
Bless your cotton socks, brother.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned before that you've got over 300 songs, mate. So when you're touring around different parts of the world, like, do you find that different places have got different songs that they want you to play, or like are the hits more universal and you can just have a basic set list for everywhere you go?
Well, I think we've got to the point where we know where we're starting, we know where we're finishing. It's that little bit in the middle where things can change. Plus also, the added bonus for Australia is one of our biggest number ones there was one that was only ever released as a single in Australia, which was Peppermint Twist.
Right.
So it was on the album, and the Australian record company picked that as a single, and then we got a imagine this, a telegram all those years ago.
Oh, wow.
Telling us, congratulating us on our number one record in Australia. And we're wondering what record that was, because it was on the same album as there were no other singles released from this album, but Australia put out the greatest hits album, and tacked on the end of it was Peppermint Twist, and the radio station started to play it, and it went to number one. So every time we come to Australia, Peppermint Twist goes into the set.
All right. And nowhere else? It didn't really go off anywhere else?
No, we've included it on some of the compilations, and we have tacked it. We have another song called AC/DC.
All right.
And what we do is it's the same kind of song rhythm, almost similar chord shapes, and what we do is we sometimes morph the two together. So all of a sudden, when we're no longer playing AC/DC, we're playing Peppermint Twist. Just for a little bit of a medley change.
Oh, that's wicked. Very good. Now, throughout your time as a band, mate, like the music industry's seen so many changing trends and fads come and go and shit, but you guys have always stuck to your guns and done what you do best. Like, how difficult has it been over the years to be able to do that, I guess, when everything's just going in so many different directions?
All right, I'll pick one word out of what you just said: difficult.
Difficult.
Yeah, it can just be a little bit hit and miss. We had a really good 70s, obviously. The 80s weren't too bad, but the 2000s, where we kind of got running again, should we say. It coincided with me kind of moving out of London, and I think that was a catalyst that I had to get out of that. In London, everybody expects you to be, you get invited to things, and if you don't go, they wonder whether you're ill and all that kind of stuff. So I just got off that roundabout and moved to where we are now in Wiltshire, and it's been fantastic. And I just love coming home, you know, to hello Jane over there,
and her off slippers,
and my little dog Ted. Where are you, Ted? Yeah,
what sort of dog is he?
Yeah. Oh, she's found it now. Yeah, the slipper thief, and it's great. I've got a brilliant mix of life now. We're here, and when I go on tour, and I've cut all the stuff that isn't necessary in life, you know, or just do the things you want to do, and I think you end up with a better quality of life, you know.
Very well said, brother. Very well said. Now, you mentioned something about new music before. In the press releases they gave us, there was nothing about it. So is it new music? Have you just released new music, or are you writing new music?
Oh, writing. We've got a new album coming out called Full Circle. It will be out by the time we do the tour.
Oh, nice.
And I'm pretty sure that we'll manage to get Sony to press a few copies so that we can take them with us. Yeah. Also, if you go on the Sweet official YouTube channel, you will find videos of all the new songs and the way the band has been for the past 6 years. So, you know, it's all there for people to see, and I think we've got something like over 1.5 million viewers on that channel now. So, you know, so it's
you're doing something right.
Yeah. Trying not to be as big an arsehole as I used to be.
I got told once I was born an arsehole and just grew bigger. So what's the new music like, mate? Is it what people would expect from the Sweet, or is it, you know, like you'd have to be sort of get bored, I guess, a little bit these days and try and change things up a bit, wouldn't you?
Well, you can't rewrite your hits. I know people have, and it sometimes works, but you're better off looking for something that the band sounds good playing. So we've had something like 4 singles that have gone to #1 in there's a chart over here called the Heritage Chart, which is mainly for artists of long standing, and you know, everybody appears in there. At the moment, Bon Jovi are #1 in it
again.
But we've had we've had 4 singles that have all gone to #1, well, you'll see it if you go on the channel. I mean, I could rabbit on about all the songs, but if you don't know them, best idea is get to know them first, and then and I'm sure during the tour we'll probably play 2 of those new ones, but not the same 2 every night. So
right, yep.
You know, so we'll mix it up a bit, you know.
Fantastic. All right, Andy. Well, that's all I've got for you tonight, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, brother. The farewell tour by the Sweet kicks off in November and runs through to the end of November, and I'm going to do my best to come along to the Brisbane show, mate. So we'll catch up and say hello.
Yeah, all right. Tell your daughters it won't be like Taylor Swift, but it'll be very enjoyable if you want to come along.